This is Indiana. It means so much for this state.
The Indiana Pacers delivering a win for Central Indiana businesses. We break down what their NBA Finals run could mean for Indianapolis and the state down the road.
The westbound train is now arriving. Please stand clear.
And all aboard for economic growth in Northwest Indiana. How the Southshore double track is already driving big bucks in Michigan City.
This can be portable now.
Plus, a Central Indiana health company making big noise in the audio market. And Hoosiers looking for peace of mind and how places like Prairie are meeting the demand. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and LiUNA.
Pacers down 3. Halliburton's got the ball. Halliburton rises up.
Well, what a time for the city of Indianapolis and the energy the Indiana Pacers have generated over the past 2 months. An unbelievable playoff run and a trip to the NBA Finals, igniting a business boom that could add up to nearly $20 million for the Central Indiana economy. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gerry Dick. Full disclosure, our show this week and how it relates to the Indiana Pacers. We record every Thursday here at our Fox 59 studio in Indianapolis. That means we don't know the outcome of Game 6 as we tape this show, or if there will be a Game 7. What we do know is this.
In 49 states, it's just basketball, but this is Indiana.
This magical 9-week run by the Pacers has been a win for Indianapolis businesses. Hotels booked solid, with rates up 34% during home games. All those fans jamming into downtown Indy, well, that's translated into a 14% increase in foot traffic and visits to attractions. Media exposure, the numbers are off the charts. Nearly 282,000 national and international stories reported about the Pacers, adding up to an estimated $6 billion in brand building for the city. And then there's another upside, something money can't buy.
For this team to capture, I think, the city's heart, Gary, I think that's the biggest thing, is everywhere I go, people have a Pacers hat, a Pacers jersey, a Pacers t-shirt. You go to the hardware store, the grocery store, the gas station, and there's just something about civic pride that is so great. And I think that's what sports is all about. It brings people together. And so it's just been super fun to see that.
Longtime Pacers TV play-by-play announcer Chris Denary on the social impact of the team's run. Another Chris joins us now to break down what this all means for Central Indiana tourism and business. Visit Indy Executive VP Chris Gahl. And Chris, is always welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Got your blue, Pacer blue on, you ready?
Downtown Indy now for 9 weeks has just been buzzing.
Yeah.
Palpable buzz because of this Pacer playoff series.
And as we had those numbers on the screen there before, but you look at it in 3, the civic boost, the economic boost, the brand boost, really in all those areas. Let's talk about hotels, first of all.
When you look at hotels in downtown Indianapolis over those game nights, during the last 9 weeks, they are able to command a 34% increase over what traditional hotels across the nation are able to charge. So that tells us that there's a real demand to come into our city and spend the night, and that's a key metric in the tourism world.
And it's a chance to show off the city, in some cases to people who've probably never been here before.
We're tracking visitors from more than 20 different countries who are coming into our city to watch Pacers basketball. And that is a big deal. Anytime the decal is up on the JW Marriott, speaking of hotels, that's a big deal. We looked at Airbnb and Vrbo listings. Those are surging on nights in which we have home Pacer playoff games, and that's another lead indicator.
And foot traffic, just basic foot traffic going to venues around the city, including places like the new Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum. We saw someone from Norway in for the game. We told them to go to the IMS Museum.
Well, you're in the ambassador program, so thank you. Yeah, we looked at cell phone geolocation mobile data, and we saw an increase, a 14% increase in those getting into our downtown and exploring from White River State Park all the way through Gamebridge. And again, that tells us more people are on the ground spending money.
How about the Indianapolis brand, if you will. And this is maybe a little tougher to calculate, but it's real. The TV exposure, the digital exposure that Indianapolis is getting because of this run in the playoffs.
11 nationally televised games. We are benefiting with Pat McAfee coming to you live from Indianapolis. You saw more than 280,000 stories about the Pacers and also the host city, and that's invaluable from a Visit Indy perspective as we look to brand and market Indianapolis as a place to visit, as a place that you want to come and do business, and you just keep hearing about Indy, and the Pacers in a positive way with beautiful shots coming in and out of commercials, invaluable when you're looking to boost the reputation and the brand of our city.
Kristen Airy talked about the civic pride. I know you agree with that as well. As we wrap up the long term, as you look at conventions and meetings, the business that you're in, and attracting people from around the globe here, what do you think the long term impact might be? With
that brand boost and the civic pride piece, as Chris mentioned, people are going to be more effusive in talking about Indianapolis, communicating the why. And when you keep Indianapolis in a positive light outside of Indianapolis, those meeting decision makers keep getting their attention drawn back to Indy, and that's win or lose on the court.
Chris Gahl, as always, thanks for joining us. Go Pacers.
Go Pacers.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Well, boom baby, certainly a familiar phrase to Indiana Pacer fans, coined by the late Bobby Slick Leonard. Slick's boom reference living on in Hamilton County, where finishing touches are underway now on a new complex in Noblesville. The $40 million arena at Innovation Mile near the Hamilton Town Center, set to open this summer. The facility will be home to the Pacers G League team, the Noblesville Boom, a nod to Slick's classic boom baby call on the radio, and something I know that'll resonate with fans around the state. Coming up next, business on the fast track along the Indiana shore of Lake Michigan.
The westbound train is now arriving. Please stand clear.
Hey, look at how the Southshore double track project is already fueling millions of dollars in private investment in Michigan City.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
And we begin this week right here in Northwest Indiana on the shores of Lake Michigan, where a cornerstone of the transformational double tracking of the Southshore line is now open, and with it the prospect of transformation for Michigan City.
We welcome you to the grand opening of our station.
The opening of the 11th Street station and parking facility along the Southshore line represents the end of years of discussion and doubt, and the spark for private investment that is changing the face of Michigan City.
Not only is it a connector between South Bend, Michigan City, and Chicago, it's also housing that, is a part of the development of the train station.
I think this is the cornerstone of why we did the projects, Gary. Everybody saw the vision of improving train service. That's great. We want better connectivity to and from Chicago. But wrapped around that is this vision that we could attract private sector development to invest in and around the train stations, and in so doing, bring back revenue to the state, to the county, to the cities involved.
And that private sector investment, once doubted, is now happening to the tune of a 12-story, $100 million luxury apartment development from Indianapolis-based Flaherty & Collins, next door to the station. Just a few blocks away, the $311 million Sola development has been delayed, but is expected to break ground this summer and include condos, townhomes, a hotel, and retail space facing Lake Michigan.
We did an economic analysis about 6-7 years ago of what the double track project could bring to Michigan City. And I think the projection was $670 million of private sector investment over 30 years. Gary, I think we have that in 12 months between the project at the lakefront with Solo. There's the project at the station area, and then there's another project along Michigan Boulevard. It's incredibly exciting.
Michigan City officials expect existing and new projects in the city to soon top $1 billion.
This was the key and the critical piece, because I think people are now investing downtown, but also investing across the city for housing in other areas of town, not just the north side anymore.
Tip of the hat to those folks 20 years ago who had the vision and those who stayed along the way to make sure this project got to the finish line. It doesn't just happen on ribbon cutting days. It happens along the way, takes a lot of gut, a lot of perseverance, a lot of vision, being willing to be knocked down to the mat and get back up again. You got to be resilient, and the proof's in the pudding.
Big news in Michigan City. Also major news this week coming out of Gerry, about 40 minutes to the west. After months of back and forth, Japan's Nippon Steel is purchasing U.S. steel for $15 billion. A key element of that deal, $11 billion in capital improvements at U.S. Steel facilities, including its Gerry Works operation, the largest integrated steel mill in the Northern Hemisphere. U.S. Steel, so important to Gerry, actually founded the city of Gerry in 1906. The combined company will become the world's fourth largest steelmaker. AutoChem Medical plans to build a $70 million manufacturing facility that could bring 300 jobs to Warsaw and Kosciuszko County. The company produces a variety of medical instruments, including surgical drill bits and implants. AutoChem Medical currently employs about 10 people in the Medtronic building in Warsaw. Construction on the new building expected to start later this year. As work continues on a $70 million Bloomington Convention Center expansion project, plans for an adjacent hotel are moving a bit more slowly. The Bloomington Redevelopment Commission estimates the hotel is about a year behind the Convention Center project. Fishers-based Dora Hospitality was selected as the preferred developer last fall, and negotiations are still underway. We will certainly keep you updated on new developments there. To Southwest Indiana now, where talent retention and attraction are the focus of a new housing project in Knox County. The $35 million project will bring 240 market-rate apartment units to Vincennes, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units expected to help address the city's need for housing.
We've known we're short on housing we had a study done a couple of years ago, and it's not unique to Vincennes or Indiana, it's nationwide, but it's exciting to see us land the Reinvents to develop their project here in Vincennes.
The first units at Beer House Flats expected to be available early next year. But when we come back, checking in on how Indiana innovation is making sound crystal clear.
One problem they all deal with is moisture that builds up in their hearing instruments.
Details on new products in the pipeline at Fishers-based Redux. That's when we come back.
One problem they all deal with is moisture that builds up in their hearing instruments.
A high-tech accessory developed by entrepreneurs in central Indiana. Redux is a health tech company in Fishers, and it's making some big noise in the audio market. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta now with a look at how they're changing the way we hear.
Fishers-based Redux is turning up the volume on its product line. We first told you about the company 2 years ago when it launched an at-home hearing aid dryer. Redux says moisture is the main reason hearing aids stop working. But customers soon pointed out drying time was eating up time needed to charge the hearing aids.
They got to make a decision whether they charge it or dry it. So we came up with the ability to charge and dry simultaneously.
And that's the Ultra Dry and Charge, which will be ready for sale this summer for about $300. That's 25% less. But the company wanted to drive down the price of its hearing aid dryer even more, so Redux created the Dry Buddy for $90.
And the idea here is this can be portable now. You can take this with you in a travel situation, put this in a pouch, like if you're going skiing or if you're going on a trip to Europe or whatever, keep this with you. And if you get anything wet, your hearing aids or AirPods or whatever, you can dry them with that.
Even less expensive is the Dry Buddy Mini for $45.
A razor and a razor blade concept, so you can disconnect this. This is disposable, this is reusable.
All three products use the company's electronic rice, a high-tech drying agent that absorbs moisture with no heat.
The audiologists have told us it's about time someone's come up with this.
All three products will be for sale on the Redux website and Amazon.
People have called us and said, you know, we love this dryer. Our child plays soccer. He wears hearing aids after we dry him. it's so nice that this child say, "Mommy, I can hear better again." Now what's going to be done is we're going to be able to bring this to the home at an affordable price.
So she walked a little over 100 steps.
And now a big update to a story from last week. Just after we reported that Recovery Force Health is rolling out its device at all 6 hospitals in the Community Health Network, the startup landed an even bigger business deal. Recovery Force Health has now inked a multi-million-dollar agreement with the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center in Houston, Texas, to roll out its product. The MAX system is a modernized version of traditional compression sleeves that squeeze the calves to prevent blood clots. Any hospital patient admitted longer than 24 hours uses compression sleeves. Unlike traditional compression devices, the MAX system is cordless and records data, including the patient's steps. Recovery Force Health says just this purchase order for the Texas deal is equal to its entire year's revenue from last year. The multi-year agreement will serve 15,000 veterans each year. Also signing on since our story aired is IU Health. In the coming weeks, the health system will trial the devices with certain units at IU Health Methodist and IU Health North in Indianapolis.
We grew up here, we design, develop, and we even final assembly and manufacture here, so it's a big deal. We want to be with Hoosiers, patients that are here in the Indiana hospitals.
And back to that Redux story, the hearing aid dryers will also be sold at mobile phone retailers because the dryers also work on smartphones and earbuds after water damage. Some great innovation.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
Well, hundreds of thousands of sports fans, business leaders, and other guests visit Indianapolis every year. Now a new program at IU Indianapolis is supporting future hospitality industry professionals. Through an expanded partnership between IU, Indianapolis, and White Lodging, students can get on-the-job experience across multiple areas of the industry. White Lodging owns the JW Marriott and 4 other hotels in downtown Indianapolis. The program lasts for 2 years and is focused on college to career transitions.
We're an ascending city. There's so many new investments that are taking place that are only going to make hospitality even stronger. For our industry to be successful, it really always comes down to having talent, having the best talent.
According to Visit Indy, there are about 83,000 hospitality employees in the Indianapolis region.
Swing and a drive, right field, forget it, off the scoreboard.
Well, sending one 452 feet out of the park, and the Rose-Hulman connection to help put more oomph from bat to ball. Rose-Hulman alum Keenan Long founded Long Ball Bats 6 years ago. His company works with Major League Baseball players to get the most out of their swings. Long has turned to mechanical engineering students at Rose to develop high-tech bats. We'll take a deeper dive into that story in the coming weeks. Coming up next, checking off that creative bug on your summer bucket list. How everything from glass blowing in Hendricks County to learning how to cook in Carmel is boosting Hoosier brain power and pumping dollars into the Hoosier economy.
Angie's List, reviews you can trust.
Angie's List then, simply Angie. Now, a nationally recognized Indiana business hitting a major milestone, marking 30 years helping homeowners get the most bang for their buck. This week, Angie launched a new artificial intelligence tool to help connect service pros with homeowners. Homeowners can answer questions and prompts, as well as input information in their own words. The system then analyzes the information to connect them with the right service professionals who can help.
The most important thing for us is really discerning in homeowner words what they need to have done, and then getting those details to a pro in the right way. And we knew there was a lot of times a bit of a communication gap.
Angie says with its new system, match accuracy improves by around 30%. Now on to the business of boosting brain power and creativity. In this month's Trendiana segment, Yelp's Brittany Smith takes a look at how Hoosier businesses and organizations are cashing in on the search for peace of mind.
Thanks, Gary. We're here at Prairie in Fishers, Indiana, one of the 4 spots that we'll be highlighting today. We tapped into Yelp's data trends report this year and found that more and more adults are looking for hobbies and creative outlets to learn something new. Search trends were up for everything from pasta making and blacksmithing, more than 500%, as well as jewelry making and latte art classes. We're kicking things off right here at Conner Prairie, which a lot of folks know is one of the most visited outdoor museums in the country. But what you may not know is that they have great historic classes that range from wheel-thrown pottery to cooking classes that tie in your own herb garden to learn right there how you can use those herb ingredients in your kitchen, as well as corn to cocktail classes and vegetarian cuisine and historic foodway classes. If you haven't been to Conner Prairie in a while, this is a great excuse to revisit and check out all the new things that are happening here, including their forest bathing, meditative sessions that take you back in the woods to connect with nature and have a peaceful moment. Next up, we're heading to Indianapolis Art Center in the Broad Ripple neighborhood of Indy. They are known for offering dozens of art classes for adults, and whether you consider yourself an amateur or a pro, it's likely they have a class for you. Their classes range from sculpture and photography to digital arts, and Yelp reviews especially love that they offer drop-in classes that are make it and take it. So if you don't want to make a big commitment, you can pop in and have a date night or meet up with friends. Next up, we're heading to Carmel for a Cut Above Catering cooking classes. Their instructional cooking classes typically take about 2 to 3 hours and kick off with the chef-prepared appetizers, an hour-and-a-half class followed by enjoying the recipe together with your classmates. They even offer a final cut challenge similar to the chopped cooking competition that splits up into groups for great team bonding based on ingredients, and you have just 40 minutes to make your dish. Folks love how approachable these classes are and thoroughly enjoy the final results to take home. Next up, we are heading to Hot Blown Glass in Clayton, Indiana. If you've wanted to try glass blowing, this is a great spot for you. This is rounding out our list of hobbies to explore, and Hot Blown Glass features year-long classes, private lessons, as well as workshops. Lisa, the artist and owner, opened up back in 2014, and folks love that you can pop in and explore her own artwork and shop before you even take your class. You can check out their website for their event calendar and find out when to book your own class. Well, the Herb Garden here at Conner Prairie is just the starting point of classes and hobbies that you can find throughout the state. We hope this inspires you to learn something new this summer. Back to you, Gary.
Great stuff. Thanks, Brittany, very much. Next month, Brittany travels the state in search of the perfect outdoor dining spot. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week with a look back at some of the highlights from the Pacers NBA Finals run. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gerry Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.